If you're thinking about a move to Southern Oregon, you're likely considering the pros and the cons of living here. Hey there, my name is Simona Fino, and this is Living Southern Oregon. Today, I'm sharing the pros and cons of living here, and I'm gonna start with the things that suck about living in Southern Oregon. All right, number one on that list is the limited job opportunities. The economy here is driven by agriculture, tourism, and small businesses, which really doesn't provide much in the way of career prospects for most people. Finding full-time work with decent pay is super challenging. Most businesses can't afford to pay much more than $15 to $20 an hour, and oftentimes that doesn't include health insurance. That, combined with the fact that housing prices have continued to go up, makes being able to afford here a lot more challenging. All right, number two, fire and smoke. All right, while the fire and smoke season is usually pretty short, it freaking sucks. When it is smoky, doing anything outside for any length of time makes your eyes burn and your throat sore, headaches. So most people just stay inside, which is such a bummer when it's actually beautiful and warm out, minus that smoke. And if you have to work outside, that's extra sucky. Also, the threat of fire is real, especially for folks who live in wooded rural areas. And when there's a fire nearby, it's hard not to feel anxious and stressed out. Insurance is a big issue when it comes to fires because many companies just simply won't insure rural properties, or they have extremely high costs. Now, I want to give a shout out though to our firefighters because they do an incredible job, and it is not often that structures and homes are lost. So we really owe them a huge, huge thank you for the work that they do in our communities. All right, number three, drugs, tweakers, and the unhoused. If you're looking for a place to live where you aren't going to see tweakers or unhoused folks on a regular basis, you might want to pass on Southern Oregon. I think the only place I've never seen tweakers or unhoused folks is in the small little town of Jacksonville. Anyway, what you need to consider is whether you can afford to live in areas or neighborhoods where it is less of a problem, and to also consider how much seeing it is going to affect you. Now, I moved here from the Bay Area where this is a huge issue, and while I am very aware of it here, it really doesn't affect my day-to-day, and so it doesn't bother me so much. Now, if you are considering a move here and you really want my honest opinion about the best places to live where you're not going to see as much or experience as much of the tweaker world, give me a call. I'm happy to share that information with you. All right, number four, the lack of diversity and culture. I'm going to start with a real disturbing fact about Oregon. Did you know that Oregon banned slavery? Not because they imposed enslaving humans. Nope. They did it to keep Oregon an all-white state. Ugh. Okay, disturbing fact number two. The KKK was a huge presence here in the early 1900s, and the residual energy of that horrible organization remains. All this to say that Oregon has a deep history of racism, and that, in my opinion, is one of the most sucky things about living here. Because of this history, Oregon seriously lacks diversity. Now, gratefully, over the last few years, we've seen an influx of open-minded folks moving here, and I really hope that continues because I would like to see a lot more diversity and a lot less racism. All right, now that we've covered what I think are the crappy things about living here, I'll end on a positive note and talk about the wonderful things about living here. Number one is the natural beauty. All right, look at where I am right now. This is Cathedral Hills, which is a whole area of trails, and it is 10 minutes outside of downtown Grants Pass. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful places. So even as you drive along the I-5, you're going to be gazing at beautiful scenery. There's just so much to explore here. We've got rivers, lakes, mountains, forests, and of course the ocean is just a few short hours away. Being closer to nature is the main reason I moved here. I wanted to see less of the urban world, less concrete, homes packed together, skyscrapers. I just wanted more of the natural world, trees, rivers, and open expanses. So that's what I've got. All right, number two is the access to real food. We are blessed with a climate that allows for 3 seasons, 3 growing seasons, and a 4th if you have a greenhouse. There's abundant farmland, and the culture here. We have a great farming and homesteading culture, which means there's tons of folks out there growing amazing food. There are orchards, vineyards, vegetables, herbs, seed farming, beekeeping, all kinds of stuff. So that means we have an abundance of local food. And here's an exciting fact about Jackson County. Did you know that Jackson County is completely GMO free? Yep, thanks to the hard work of local farmers, and you know who you are, we are safe from genetically engineered crops in Jackson County. So thank you. All right, the last is the proximity to two big cities, San Francisco and Portland. And of course, the Medford Airport, which is an international airport. So when I'm feeling fed up with the lack of diversity in culture, it's really nice to know that I'm just a day's drive to either San Francisco or Portland, or I can hop on an easy flight out of Medford to somewhere more exciting. Because you know what? I am willing to fly to LA to see an art exhibit or to drive to San Francisco to see Stevie Nicks. And while I'm there, I'm going to eat as much pho or Korean barbecue as possible because you know what? Good ethnic food is hard to find here. All right, well, that wraps up the pros and cons that I have of living in Southern Oregon. But you know what? I'm real curious to hear what your pros and cons are because everyone's got their opinion and I'd love to hear yours. So put those in the comments. And while you're doing that, will you do me a favor? Will you hit that subscribe button so you'll be sure to see all of my upcoming videos? And pass this along to somebody that you think might benefit from it. All right, thanks so much for watching. You have a beautiful day and I will see you next time.